The emergency room at Mercy General Hospital never sleeps. And tonight, neither will the man who just walked in wearing a charcoal suit and the kind of silence that bends rooms around it. But before him, there was her. Her name is Nia Carter. She stands at the nurse's station, deep brown skin glowing under harsh fluorescent lights that were never meant for beauty. Her natural curls are pinned back neatly, though a few rebellious strands refuse to obey. Like they know something about her the world doesn't. She's charting, focused, calm, the kind of nurse everyone depends on without ever saying it out loud, the kind who holds chaos together with steady hands and quiet authority. She doesn't hear him approach. Dr. Victor Huang, chief of surgery, hospital royalty, the man whose reputation is whispered with equal parts awe and fear. A genius in the operating room, untouchable in the halls. He moves like gravity works differently for him. No one interrupts him. No one challenges him. Until he stops directly behind her. Something flashes across his face. Not admiration, not attraction. Something darker, possessive, entitled. And then he does the unforgivable. His hand shoots forward, grabs a fistful of her hair, and yanks. Hard. Pens drop. Monitors beep louder in the sudden silence. The entire ER freezes. But Nia doesn't scream. She doesn't flinch. She goes very, very still. Then she turns. Not because she's afraid, because she's deciding. Across the trauma bay, behind tinted glass, a man in a dark suit watches everything. His jaw tightens slowly, his fingers curl around the armrest. He is not staff, he is not family, and the look in his eyes says one thing clearly. Dr. Victor Huang just made the worst mistake of his life. Dr. Huang releases her hair as if nothing happened. "I need the chart for bed 7, he says coldly, like he didn't just violate her. Like she's furniture he adjusted. Humiliation burns inside Nia, hot and slow, the kind black women in powerful white spaces are expected to swallow quietly. She has swallowed it before. She has smiled before. Tonight, she hands him the chart, but her eyes promise something else. The man watching from behind the glass is Adrian Park. In this city, his name is never spoken loudly. Businessmen lower their voices around it. Police officers pretend not to know it. Some call him a strategist. Others call him something far less polite. He came to Mercy General because one of his associates took 3 bullets earlier that night. Adrian does not sit in waiting rooms. Yet tonight, he stayed, and he watched. He watched a woman hold herself together under humiliation. He watched strength that didn't beg. And something shifted in his chest, something unfamiliar, because Adrian Park hasn't felt much of anything in years. Hours later, at 2:13 a.m., it gets worse. Nia's supervisor approaches her quietly. "Dr. Huang filed a complaint," she says carefully. "He claims you were insubordinate and refused documentation." Nia's fingers freeze over the keyboard. "He pulled my hair," she says softly. "He says he tapped your shoulder and you misunderstood." Misunderstood. A slap dressed as policy. Nia inhales slowly. There are cameras. This station is monitored. The supervisor's eyes flicker. They're reviewing the footage, which means someone already decided what the footage shows. In the hallway, halfway to the elevator, Adrian stops walking. He heard everything, and he understands exactly what reviewing the footage means. He's buried evidence before. He knows how institutions protect powerful men. It's easy. A timestamp shifts, a file goes missing, a conversation happens behind closed doors. Power protects itself. Adrian pulls out his phone. "The security system at Mercy General," he says calmly. "Pull tonight's ER footage, all of it. Back it up somewhere untouchable." Pause. "Yes, now." He ends the call. He tells himself this is reflex, that he would have done this for anyone. He almost believes it. The next morning, Nia is placed on administrative leave, pending investigation. Across from HR, she sits upright, hands flat on her thighs. "What exactly is being investigated?" she asks. "Concerns about your conduct." "He pulled my hair," she says clearly, without tears. HR shifts uncomfortably. "There are questions about the camera angle." "The angle?" she repeats. She walks out before they can watch her break. In the parking garage, the shaking starts. Not tears, rage. Her phone rings. Unknown number. She ignores it. It rings again and again. On the fourth call, she answers. "Miss Carter," a low voice says, smooth, controlled. "I have something that belongs to you." Silence. 47 seconds of footage, clear, undeniable. Her heart stutters. Who is this? Someone who was in the waiting room. She remembers the man in the suit, the stillness about him. "What do you want?" she asks. A pause. "Nothing from you." "Then why?" "Because what happened to you was wrong, and the people trying to bury it made a mistake." Another pause. "I don't like mistakes like that." Something in his tone makes her shiver. "If I need it," she says carefully, "how do I reach you?" "You won't need to. I'll know." The call ends. For the first time since the word misunderstood was spoken, Nia doesn't feel helpless.
3 days later, the hospital makes its move. Nia's union representative calls her early in the morning. "They're offering a settlement," he says carefully. "It's generous. Generous. The kind of generous that buys silence. The conditions? She resigns. She signs a non-disclosure agreement. She never speaks about the incident again. Clean, quiet, contained. For a moment, just a moment, she considers it. Because she is tired. Because fighting systems built to crush people like her requires oxygen she isn't sure she has left. But then she remembers his hand in her hair and the way they said she misunderstood. She doesn't sign. Instead, she calls her cousin, Tessa Brooks, a sharp-tongued paralegal with zero tolerance for injustice. "They tampered with the footage," Tessa says immediately after hearing everything. "They claim there's an angle issue." Tessa lets out a slow, dangerous laugh. "Of course there is. You need to fight this. I know. Do you have anything else? Any other proof?" Nia hesitates. She thinks about the phone call, the voice, the promise. "Maybe," she says. That afternoon, she sends a message to the unknown number. "I'm not signing anything." The response comes in under a minute. "Good. Don't." Then another message. "Contact attorney Elena Kim. Tell her Adrian Park sent you." Her fingers freeze. Now she has a name. Adrian Park. She searches it, and the air in her apartment changes. Not headlines, not interviews, whispers. Connections to corporate takeovers, shadow negotiations, a reputation that moves through back rooms and power circles like controlled fire. Not officially criminal, but never ordinary. The man who saved her evidence is the most dangerous strategist in the city. Her pulse spikes, and she calls the lawyer anyway. Elena Kim is exactly what her reputation suggests. Small, impeccable, sharp enough to cut glass. They meet in a glass-walled office high above downtown. Elena listens without interrupting. When Nia finishes, Elena leans back. "Tell me about the backup footage." Nia does. "And Adrian Park has secured it?" "He says he has." Elena studies her carefully. "Do you understand who he is?" "I'm starting to." Elena nods slowly. "He doesn't intervene without purpose, ever. He said he wanted nothing." "Men like him always want something," Elena replies calmly. "The question is whether it's something you can live with." A beat. But that's not today's concern. She slides a document across the table. The hospital released only 30 seconds of footage, with a convenient gap. Nia's stomach drops. They cut it. Yes. Can we get the original legally? Eventually, maybe, if it hasn't been altered. Silence. "And the backup?" Nia asks. "If his copy is clean," Elena says carefully, "we could use it. But that ties me to him. Yes. Naya thinks about the settlement, about silence, about being erased. I'm already in his orbit, she says quietly. He chose that. I'm choosing what to do with it. For the first time, Elena smiles. Good, then let's burn this down, legally. The full footage enters the legal proceeding like a grenade. 47 clear seconds. Dr. Victor Huang's hand, his fingers tightening in her hair, the yank, her stillness, the witnesses in the background. No angles, no confusion, no misunderstanding. The hospital's legal team requests delay. Denied. By noon, the footage is online. By 3 p.m., Naya's name is trending nationally. By evening, news anchors are debating workplace abuse and institutional protection on live television. She sits on her cousin's couch eating takeout, watching strangers argue over her humiliation. Her phone vibrates. You handled that well. She types back. You watched? Yes. Why? Long pause. I wanted to see if they made you afraid. Another message follows. They didn't. Good. She stares at the screen. There's something unsettling about how closely he's watching, and something else, something steady. A week later, Elena requests a meeting. Naya walks into the office, and he's already there. Adrian Park stands when she enters. Not a calculated move. Instinct. He's taller than she expected. Sharp lines, controlled posture. Dark eyes that study without consuming. Miss Carter, he says. Mr. Park. He gestures to the chair beside him. She chooses the one across from him. A flicker of something crosses his expression. Amusement? Respect? Elena gets straight to it. The hospital will attempt to subpoena the source of the footage. They won't find it, Adrian says calmly. They may try. He nods once. Let them. Naya studies him. He doesn't look reckless. He looks certain. If they come after the source, she asks carefully, does that create legal risk for you? Elena raises an eyebrow. Adrian turns to her fully now. His attention is intense, but not predatory. Focused. Don't worry about me, he says. I am, she replies evenly, because I don't want helping me to cost you in ways I didn't choose. Something shifts in his jaw. That exposure was my decision. Why, she asks again. He holds her gaze longer this time. I was there, he says finally. I saw what he did. I saw how you held yourself afterwards. A beat. I don't leave things like that unfinished. Not the full truth, but not a lie. Her pulse doesn't settle for the rest of the meeting, and when she glances up once, his eyes are already on her.
2 weeks before the hearing, the hospital escalates. Dr. Victor Wong's legal team files a new claim. The footage was staged. Naya conspired with colleagues to damage his reputation. She fabricated the incident. When Elena tells her, the world doesn't shatter, it tilts. The audacity is almost impressive. They'll try to discredit the witnesses, Elena explains. If two retract their statements, their narrative gains traction. Have they approached anyone? Naya asks. Elena hesitates. One orderly received a job offer. Better pay, immediate start, private clinic. Name? Marcus Reed. Naya exhales slowly. I know Marcus. Administrative leave feels like suffocation, so Naya starts running. Every morning, 6 a.m., through the park 2 blocks from her apartment. Running isn't about fitness, it's about movement. Forward, always forward. On the 4th morning, she rounds the fountain and stops. Adrian Park stands beside a bench in dark joggers in a fitted jacket, like the park arranged itself around him. Are you following me? She asks, breath heavy. I was told you run here. That's not an answer. No, he agrees calmly. It isn't. She folds her arms. There's been a development, he says. They're building a parallel case, claiming fabrication. Her jaw tightens. What do they need to make that stick? They'd have to pressure witnesses. Have they? 1. Marcus Reed. She straightens. I'll talk to him. His expression shifts. You don't have to handle this alone. I'm not alone, she says evenly, but I'm not sitting at home while they threaten people I work with. Silence stretches between them. Finally, "I'll come with you," he says. That will scare him more. Another pause. "Fine," Adrian says. "Then tell me how it goes." "Why?" His eyes darken slightly. "If they threaten him after you leave, I'll know." "And then?" A flicker of restrained intensity. "Then I handle the people doing the threatening." She should be alarmed. Instead, for the first time in weeks, she feels steady. "I'll text you," she says, and she runs. Marcus looks exhausted. They meet at a small diner far from the hospital. "I haven't changed my statement," he blurts before she even sits. "I know," she says gently. "I'm not here to pressure you. I'm here to ask if you're okay." He blinks. "They came to my apartment," he says quietly, "with my credit report, my rent history." "I know. I have a daughter." She leans forward. "What you saw was real. I'm not asking you to be brave for me, but whoever's pressuring you, they have more to lose than you do." He studies her. "The offer disappeared after I told my wife, like it was never real." She texts Adrian from the parking lot. "Someone spooked them." His reply comes quickly. That was the point. She stares at the screen. He'd already handled it, before she even asked, not instead of her, alongside her, removing obstacles, leaving her visible agency intact. It terrifies her, and it does something else she's not ready to name. 2 days before the hearing, 2 more former employees come forward. Patterns emerge. Dr. Wong has done this before. Smaller humiliations, subtle violations, silenced stories. The wall begins to crack. That night at 11:30 p.m., her phone rings. "You should sleep," Adrian says. "So should you." "I don't sleep much." Silence hums between them. "Are you afraid?" She considers it honestly. "I'm afraid that if we win, people will act like it fixed everything. And if you lose? I'll have to figure out what I'm worth in a world that just told me I'm not worth the truth." The silence on his end deepens. "You're worth far more than the truth. The truth is just the beginning." Something settles in her chest. "Adrian," she says softly. The way she says his name changes something in the air. "Yes. Don't come into the courtroom tomorrow." "I won't." "Stay nearby." "I already am." 4 hours. Marcus testifies. The additional women testify. The 47 seconds play again. Dr. Wong's attorney is aggressive, expensive, sharp. He uses the word vendetta 3 times. Then Elena stands. She doesn't raise her voice. She doesn't need to. When she finishes, the hearing officer looks like someone choosing between comfort and conscience. The ruling: Nia Carter is reinstated effective immediately. Dr. Victor Wong is suspended pending full investigation. The hospital is cited for evidence tampering. It's not everything, but it's real. Outside the courtroom, her phone buzzes. "I watched the live stream." "I told you not to come inside." "I didn't." Location pin. Coffee shop across the street. She looks up through the courthouse glass. Across traffic, he stands at the window, watching. She lifts her hand. He raises his. Her cousin nudges her. "Who's that?" "Complicated," she replies. She gives interviews, speaks carefully, thanks her supporters. Then she crosses the street. He stands when she approaches. "You did it," she corrects. "We did it." He almost smiles. "Don't be modest, it doesn't suit you." She sits. The noise of the cafe wraps around them. "What happens now?" she asks. "For you or me?" "For you. There's always a cost." "There is," he agrees. "I chose it." "Why?" This time he doesn't deflect. "I saw what they did to you, and I saw how you refused to fold. Something shifted in me." A pause. "I've lived by logic and leverage, and then you happened." The current between them thickens. "I know what you are," she says carefully. "I haven't decided what I think about it." "I'm not asking you to decide tonight." She studies him. "Dinner," she says finally. "Not as a thank you." "As what?" "As something I want." A rare warmth breaks through his composure. "Yes," he says simply.
She chooses the restaurant. Not flashy, not symbolic, just warm lighting,
honest food, and no performance. Adrian arrives exactly on time. Dark shirt, civilian clothes, but nothing about him is ever entirely civilian. He pulls out her chair. She lets him. They order wine. And something shifts. Not fireworks, not drama. Recognition. He speaks first. "I came to this country at 19, he says, with nothing that mattered. No embellishment, no pity. I built what I built because I got tired of watching men who looked like me get dismissed, stepped over, underestimated. And now," she asks, "now I know the difference between what I can justify and what I can't." He doesn't pretend he's clean. He doesn't pretend he's innocent. He simply tells the truth. And Nia listens, because she is good at listening. It's marrow deep in her, the ability to hear what lives beneath the words. What she hears is this: a man who has been alone inside his power for a very long time. She tells him about her mother's hospital in Atlanta, about watching nurses do invisible labor that saved lives, about choosing nursing as an act of defiance. "I see you, you matter, I'll stay." About the exhaustion of being strong in spaces that reward strength with more pressure and less grace. He listens the same way she does, fully, like every word matters. They close the restaurant. Outside, the city is cooler now, lit in gold and glass. He walks beside her, close but not touching. At the corner, she stops. He stops too. They're closer than either expected. "I don't move quickly," she says softly. "I know. I'm careful." "I know that too." His restraint is visible in his jaw, in the stillness of his hands. "I'm not asking you to stop being careful," he says. "Then what are you asking?" He looks at her. Not the calculating look, the other one, the one that keeps slipping through. "Let me be worth the risk." It is exactly the right thing to say. She lifts her hand and places it against his jaw. Just her palm. Warm skin, faint stubble. His breath changes, a single controlled inhale. "Earn it," she says. He turns his face into her hand and presses his lips gently to her palm. Brief, certain, devastating. And he begins. He earns it loudly. Security she doesn't notice for weeks. A rare first-edition medical ethics book she once mentioned casually. Standing outside the hospital on her first day back, not escorting her in, just visible. But he earns it quietly, too. By asking questions and waiting for full answers. By learning the difference between protecting and controlling. By choosing the former. 3 weeks later, she stands in his apartment overlooking the city. Dark surfaces, clean lines, almost no personal artifacts. Like a man who never allowed himself to arrive anywhere fully. She's still in her coat. He stands beside her at the window. The distance between them disappears slowly. No urgency, no claiming. When he touches her hair, he is careful. Asking, the absolute opposite of the last hands that touched it with violence, and her body understands the difference instantly, the difference between being handled and being held. The city blurs beyond the glass. No dramatic declarations, just arrival. Afterwards, she lies against his chest, listening to his heartbeat. Fast, unguarded. "I'm still afraid of this," she says quietly. "I know, so am I." And somehow, that comforts her more than certainty ever could. 6 weeks later, the investigation concludes. Dr. Victor Wang's medical license is suspended for 2 years pending full review. The hospital issues a public apology. 3 board members quietly resign. Former employees are heard, believed. It's not revolution, but it's real. Nia returns to work, head high, unapologetic.
In a nationally broadcast interview, she says, "This isn't about one man, it's about systems that protect power over people. Winning one case doesn't fix that, it just proves change is possible." Clear, steady, unafraid. Adrian watches from a hotel room in Seoul where he's handling business faster than usual because he wants to come home. He texts her, "You're extraordinary." She replies, "You're biased." He responds, "Come to Seoul with me." She types back, "Ask me again when you're home." He's home 3 days later. He planned something measured, careful. Then he sees her, standing beyond arrivals in a yellow dress, hair loose, laugh already forming in her eyes. All planning evaporates. "Come to Seoul with me," he says immediately. She laughs, the real laugh. "You asked already." "I'm asking again." "You've been home for 45 seconds. Yes?" He steps closer. Nia. Just her name, but the way he says it, like something he came back for. She studies him, all the currents between them present. "Seoul," she says slowly. "Yes." Then she lifts one finger. "We negotiate everything else." His composure breaks into warmth. "Everything," he agrees. He lifts her hand to his mouth and kisses her knuckles. Unhurried, certain, like he knows exactly what he's choosing. 6 months later, in a room overlooking the Han River, their families gather. Elena cries discreetly in the front row. Tessa loudly critiques the floral arrangements. Nia signs her name beside Adrian's. Simple, permanent, true. Later, she stands by the window, always the window, looking at the city. He comes up behind her, arms around her waist, chin against her temple. Stillness. "You know," she says softly, "this started because someone pulled my hair." "No," he says, "it started because you didn't let them win." She turns in his arms. "We," she corrects. He smiles, wide, real, entirely his. "We." Outside, the city hums with all its ordinary chaos. Inside, between two people who met in the wreckage of cruelty, something permanent breathes. And this time, no one pulls her hair. No one rewrites her truth. No one makes her small. Because she chose to stand, and someone powerful chose to stand beside her.